Call the meeting to order. We could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the reorganization meeting of the school committee, and it is being recorded, and seeing no one else in the audience, it's not being recorded otherwise. So we will start off. I'll accept nominations for chairperson, please.
I'd like to nominate George Stobie.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous, and I will pass the gavel back to the chairperson.
I will now entertain a motion or nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Wayne Page.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call vote?
Oh, yes, sorry. Mrs. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mrs. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mr. Scobie?
No. We now move on to special recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, even before that, just to clarify something that I may have misstated in previous reorganization meetings, typically you've, upon my recommendation, appointed a secretary. And even though it was really more a ceremonial position because Mrs. Zotner acted in the capacity of the secretary, we did actually get guidance from MASC. There's no requirement that you nominate a secretary, so it probably makes sense if you're in agreement to just leave Mrs. Zotner as the actual secretary, if that sounds good to you. Okay, great. So today was actually a great day. I started my morning at the Chamber of Commerce School Business Partnership Scholarship Breakfast, at which they gave away, I think it was a total of $19,500 in scholarship money to both Auburn students, a student from, an Auburn student who attends Bay Path, as well as 3 scholarships that actually went to children of chamber members, but extremely generous of them. And then later on, and Ya was one of the recipients. And then just prior to this meeting, attended the Hanover Insurance Scholarship, and Katie Brophy was recognized at that. She was also recognized this morning at the program. So had the opportunity to sit with her parents, and Mrs. Sampson, Mr. Hanfield came in as well. So a great time of year for recognitions. I also want to recognize the cast and crew of Seussical the Musical. As noted in here, they have been nominated for several awards. They're referred to as the Tammy Awards, and they're based on the Tony Awards that recognize excellence in high school musical theater. So there are, according to Mrs. Bailey, over 30 schools that participate in this, many of which have full-time curricular drama programs with large budgets. So the Auburn High program, I'll just share with you because there are numerous nominations. Renee Moore received a nomination for Best Featured Actress. Serena Kelly received a nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Katie Lasley was nominated as a quote-unquote not your average chorus ensemble member. Nominations were also received for Best Scenic Design, and a huge thank you to Mr. Wright and Beth Fadden. Best Lighting, in contributing were Caitlin Sullivan, Becca Engel, and Kevin McGurrigle. Best Costumes, Best Hair and Makeup, Best Stage Crew, with shout-outs to Caroline Saltz and Sienna Miglin. Best Props, and Best Set Design. So the winners will actually be announced this Sunday, the 22nd, but as Mrs. Bailey and Ms. Forbes, the directors of it, shared, this really is a tremendous honor for Auburn High to be included. So really outstanding. And in mentioning Seussical the Musical, I would be remiss if I did not congratulate the Peter Pan players from this past weekend. I had the opportunity to go Friday night with my niece, and as she said, she would give it 1,000 thumbs up, and the audience gave a resounding standing ovation at the end. So it was really, really excellent.
Great.
And then also, both the boys and girls varsity track teams took home the District B or Class B division title. So I want to congratulate all of them, as well as their coaches. And for the boys team, that's Mr. Jason Bergman and Mr. Andy Martin, both teachers at Auburn High. And for the girls, Ms. Karen Fidella and Ms. Ali Rushak, both teachers at Auburn High for the girls. So a great overall program. And then finally, a gentleman, Mr. Maloney, actually has come before the school committee. It may have been a year or two, and he has used our students in the graphic arts department to actually come up with a logo. And as you can see in your packet, after much work in a rigorous voting or review process, Ms. Palmer, the teacher in that department, shared that the first place winner is Adriana Boschetto. The second place winner is Shannon McGrath, and the honorable mention went to Taya Leo. So congratulations not only to those three young women, but all of the kids who participated. And I really applaud Mr. Maloney for outreaching and utilizing our students' talents in such a great way.
Great stuff.
That's awesome. It makes the kids feel like what they're doing in class is the real world and not just pretend, which is
Exactly,
great.
excuse me. Yes, absolutely.
Seeing no citizens to comment, I would seek approval of the minutes of May 3rd and May 4th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And seeing no student representatives, we will move right on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your packet, you have the updated strategic plan. As reported to you previously, we met on April 11th, this team, after having met in October and November. And what you see noted in the very right-hand column under notes and updates, and we tried to note them all in blue, unless they had already been completed, and those would be in red. But I think as you can see, and once you approve this, we will post this up on the website in the coming days for the community to see as well, that tremendous progress. This plan was actually started back in November of 2013, was actually approved by the committee in the spring of 2014. So in 2 years' short time, we have made, completed numerous of these action steps and made tremendous headway in all others. So I thank all the individuals involved in this process. It really is outstanding, but wanted to keep you updated with that as well. The next item, we share these with you on a quarterly basis. This is from the Southern Worcester County Educational Collaborative. Beth Fitzmaurice is the executive director there, and she continues to do, in my estimation, a fine job. This report is a statutory requirement to be shared, so I would ask, would seek a motion to accept it for the period of January through March.
I would entertain that motion.
And I'll make a motion that we accept the Worcester County Education Collaborative Report for January 1st, 2016 to March 31st, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Thank you. The next item, I noted in there a couple of additional Appendix C stipends. One, based on the visit that we had actually just at the last meeting. This is to continue the robotics VEX team to create one at Auburn Middle School. There would actually be 2 advisors to that, as well as the Freshman Academy. That information was shared with you in previous years, a program up at the high school to bring on individuals to really support that. But what I failed to add here and would like to discuss with your approval with the AEA tomorrow, we added with your approval last year for the Swanson Road when we brought together Julia Bancroft and PAC. It's a much larger facility than our other 2 elementaries. So you had approved the addition of a grade 3, a grade 4, and a grade 5 team leader who actually acts in a modified capacity of like a department head at the secondary level. Mrs. Lopez is very interested in bringing on, so those individuals really represent the classroom teachers, to have a representative, perhaps called a specialist team leader, who would represent those who don't have a classroom of their own, so that go in and be the special educators, the art, music, PE, and things. That stipend is $1,000. It would match what the others are, and it is my recommendation that you approve or support all of those.
I'd entertain those motions, or that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the addition of AMS robotics tech supervisor and HS freshman academy advisors on the PHC extra stipend year for the 2016-2017 school year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question. On the Auburn Middle School, will that be for all students in grades 6, 7, and 8 that are interested, or are we aiming at a particular grade level?
So that's really part of our ongoing discussions because we do, so this is going to be in addition to, we right now currently have more of a robotics Lego club. And then this would be more of a, and they have that at Swanson as well. This is more the continuation of what we saw presented from this last group. So we want to open it up to as many students as possible, but particularly those going up from 5th grade, I think we'll have an expectation for it. So we're still trying to figure out how that's going to work, but and we might even offer it multiple times during the year to try and involve more kids if possible.
And do we still have a robotics club then at Swanson?
Correct. That would still remain in place.
Okay, and
Yes.
is that for just one grade, or?
That is actually, it started with the 5th grade
Right.
students, but was expanded down with the Lego portion, and they're hoping to include, expand that as well. What the contract calls for at the elementary level is there were criteria established, it may have been actually, I think when you may have been president, that so long as it meets particular criteria that the club lasts for 15 weeks, meets for at least an hour each week, has at least 10 students involved in it, the stipend can be $600 for that, and it can be prorated. So that, because with next year, we're really looking to expand and offer many after-school options, so we're going to utilize that contract language for that.
Good.
And I think, though, with the excitement that's been generated, I suspect we'll be offering multiple sessions.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is when I did the reading, the celebrity readers, I had a 4th grade class,
Yeah.
and I asked them, what would you like me to change
Yeah.
on the school committee? And they said, longer recess, of course. And
That's
then
number
they-
one.
Yeah, that was number one. And then they said, we're only in 4th grade, but we'd like to be part of the robotics and be able to do that. So I was just wondering if
Okay.
it was going to be more than,
I anticipate it
designated
will be
grade.
expanded, and it'll probably be a tiered system where, you know, if it's Legos at one level and then eventually get to the VEX, but yeah,
Oh,
that's
that'd
the
be
plan,
good.
yeah.
so kids, I carried your request to the school committee.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for that.
Did we vote on
We
that?
didn't vote.
We discussed.
We discussed, I'm sorry.
I would entertain that motion.
I think Dorothy made the motion, right?
Oh, we're on
We just-
discussion.
You second it.
Yeah, so we just got to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Thanks, Gail.
I lost track of it there somewhere.
I think we all did, but you.
The next item with Spring, and is part of the Freshman Academy, this program, and a lot of it is really built around team building for students. They have requested, and they've gone on this trip in the past, to go to Canopy Lake Park. Because it is in New Hampshire, it's out of state, it does require your approval, so it is my recommendation that you approve it.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the freshman class spring trip to Canby Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire on June 7th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Have fun.
Yeah.
I always fill these out at school. And my only question would be, what math are they going to be doing? Like how many times they go on each ride, or like basic math?
Yeah, what is the significance?
Perhaps, maybe they'll be calculating the minutes on the trip to
Maybe I'll ask
say
that.
that, okay.
I'll see.
Okay, good, that would be a good question.
I throw math in there too. I'm just curious what they're going to do it. Can it be like, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Thank you.
Have fun.
The next item, the bus application, I did do the one call. It actually went out to homes, over 6,000 phone numbers on Monday evening, because when we put this packet together, we'd only received just shy of 500 applications, where in the previous year, we had triple that number. So I will say the call has generated quite a bit of traffic in the office, and hopefully we will likely do one more and send it out via email as well. So hopefully those will continue to come in a quicker pace. Just wanted to share with you as an FYI, as part of the Worcester County Superintendent's Association, We meet on a monthly basis during the school year, well, September to May, and I was recently elected secretary/treasurer. It's just for a one-year term, so Mrs. Zotner and I will be working closely on that. One of the main things is the Superintendent Scholars Luncheon, and getting all of the information from everyone, and that's held in January, so just wanted you to be aware.
Congratulations, Elaine. You excited?
Very.
Excellent. All right. We now move on to unfinished business.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, this second June meeting, if you remember when Mr. Creamer was here in the fall, seeking approval, I believe of the Madrid trip or a similar trip, the students actually come in from Madrid, but not until late on June 22nd. So my recommendation is that we move the meeting to June 29th, which is also a Wednesday. It's the last Wednesday of the month. But you would need to take a, did they already take a vote?
They-
Oh, they already took a vote, so that's just a reminder for you. We'll put that on the calendar, my apologies.
Will we all be here?
You won't be here?
No. Because I know you travel around in town.
The 29th? No, I'll be here.
You'll be here. Okay.
My wife's getting operated again, so
Oh, you're grounded.
we're grounded.
Okay.
Okay.
In terms of the 2016-2017 calendar, I want to point out to you, this was just a human error, mistake that was made. Originally, December 1st was listed as Wednesday. It's actually not until Thursday. So it is my recommendation that you approve this new calendar. It simply moves the dates up just one day. So the student's last day would be June 12th, because obviously we have an obligation to schedule for 180.
Mm-hmm.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion that we accept the adjusted school calendar with
Is
the
there a-
correct dates.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. It is a vote.
Thank you. And then I will turn it over to you in terms of evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I got something other new business I'd like to bring up.
The superintendent's evaluation.
Yes.
I will first go over just some of the criteria for the evaluation for those of you at home who are on the edge of your seats waiting to hear this. Some of the criteria revolving around instructional leadership would cover standards-based unit design, instructional practices, quality of effort and work, diverse learners' needs, variety of assessments, adjustment to practice, educator goals, observations and feedback, alignment review, knowledge and use of data, improvement of performance, effectiveness and learning. Under Standard 2, management and operations, operational systems, student safety, health, and social emotional needs, induction, professional development, and career growth strategies, time for teaching and learning, time for collaboration, laws and policies, ethical behavior. If I haven't bored you yet, Standard 3, family and community engagement. Family engagement, student support, two-way communication, culturally proficient communication, family concerns. Standard 4, professional culture, commitment to high standards, meetings, continuous learning of staff, shared vision of development, response to disagreement, and conflict resolution. So that's some of the criteria that the superintendent has based her goals on, and we've all had an opportunity to sort of read through Dr. Brunel's goals and how well she accomplished them or where she may have came up short, which I didn't see in really in any of it. So as last year, I think she had a phenomenal review, and I will just read off the scores, and then I'll give the members an opportunity to sort of speak toward the evaluation process and how they came up with their numbers, not specifically, but you know what they may have saw that was good last year, and some of the things that may need work. But again, I don't see many of those. So under student learning goals, It was a score of 19.6 out of 20. Professional practice goals, 19.4 out of 20. District improvement goals, 19.6 out of 20. And standard 1 instructional leadership, 9.6 out of 10. Standard 2 management and operations, 9.4 out of 10. Standard 3 family and community engagement, 9.8 out of 10. Standard 4 professional culture, 9.6 out of 10, for an overall score of 97 out of 100, which is phenomenal. And I will start. Before I go to the board, the rest of the committee, I would say Dr. Brunel continues to do a fantastic job. We're so glad to have her. She helps me out a lot in my position as chair. It's an honor to have you as our superintendent, and now I would accept any comments from the committee.
Through the chair, I want to reiterate what George said. I think it's a pleasure to work with you, and I think our kids are really lucky to have someone who can pick up the phone and just listen to your concerns. So, as any parent, and I know a lot of parents don't call West Street, but we do try to encourage them. Yeah, I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Another year, please.
Thanks.
Well, as you know, Dr. Brunel, I worked in Auburn under many kinds of superintendents. And I think the best thing that ever happened to Auburn was when you came on board. And when we go to the conference in the fall, we have a lot of other schools that tell us they would like to steal you. So you have a an excellent reputation out there, and we're not about to give you up for a minute. So
Thank you.
thank you for being our superintendent.
Thanks.
Wayne?
I would like to thank you for all the support that you give this committee as a whole. I'd like to thank you for the personal endeavors you deal with parents, students, even school committee members. There's things that you do that you go over your limit where you don't need to do, and you are willing there to help anyone, anytime, students, parents, your team, everybody. You just have that perfect fit that we never want to let you go. So you're getting a 30-year contract.
Starting now, right?
But I would really thank, because you helped me grow on this committee, and I think you helped this whole committee grow. You're very supportive of everybody and everything, and I believe most of these people on the committee feel the same way. They support you, and I don't know what else to say, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, that was very nice and well-deserved, and congratulations
Thank you.
on a great evaluation.
Thank you. I do want to thank the leadership team, thank all of you for your support. It's tremendously appreciated. I believe wholeheartedly in teamwork and collaboration. I think it's the only way that we can ever really be successful. It's never, in my experience, about one individual. We have a great leadership team, but even and I include in that, the teachers, the parents. I remember when I came back to Auburn after leaving here after 5 years, I said that there were great teachers and staff here, the colleagues, my administrative colleagues. The parents were great and tremendously supportive, and the kids were just wonderful. And it was somewhat of an untapped market, I guess, because there had been so much change. So it's great being here, and it's hard to believe this is year 8 on completion. So,
And
but thank you.
And something most people don't know, the teachers were so happy you came, we sent you flowers.
Oh, wait a minute, we didn't know about this.
It was after she was signed.
Yeah.
Just a little brag.
Thank you.
I'm going after.
Until next year.
Until next year. Okay,
We
thanks.
now move on to new business.
So one of our most exciting culminating events, 2 weeks from Friday, will be and there are invitations here for each of you for the Auburn High graduation. Mr. Hanfield and his team always do, and Ms. Donahue, just a tremendous job in all of those involved. So look forward to seeing you there and congratulating the students.
Oh, is that what those letters are, Ryan?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, I got the wrong one.
you got the wrong one?
Yeah.
Wayne Page, I know me. You don't even have one, George.
No, this is right
That's
here.
all right, as long as I know. As long as I know I'm
You
invited.
might want to keep Jesse's,
Okay.
and you're Gail, right?
I'm Gail, last time I checked.
All right, we look forward to that.
Yes, I do too.
The next item, we've heard an awful lot in the news about drinking water and such. And so the Department of Environmental Protection, and we got word of this through MASS as well as through the governor's office, that State Treasurer Deb Goldberg has announced that there's $2 million from the Mass Clean Water Trust that will fund cooperative efforts to help Massachusetts public schools test for lead and copper in drinking water. So Mr. Fahey, on a very proactive measure, has applied for these, but I'm also very happy to report to you that through a long-standing cooperation between Mr. Fahey and it's Mr. Smith of the Water Department, but Mr. Weigel before that, they actually do annual testing of our school's water, and they have come out very favorably. So they're going to continue that, but we did apply for the grant. We're always interested if there is more that we can do or learn. We will certainly do that, but we're in good shape there, it's two. And then finally, Mr. Greg Desto, he's the superintendent of the Dudley Charlton District. The committee had asked to pass along an invitation to you that on May 25th at Charlton Middle School, they're going to be holding a superintendent evaluation training. I did indicate that you would be done my evaluation at that point, but if any of you are interested in going, let us know and we can RSVP for you.
Wayne?
Yes, I wanted to bring something up under new business.
Okay.
I just want to say is, I voted for Mr. Scobie tonight to try to unify our committee. We don't agree, we have our differences. But I just wanted to be, and I want to thank Mr. Scobie for not voting for me, because it just shows the source where the ununity is at. But I will still support him. I voted for him. I would not take the vote back because I felt it was a step in the right direction. And, you know, for the next 2 years, I will be here for the budget, the education of our children. Whether we have differences or not, that's what I'm here for. I was voted in by the people to support the voters, the parents, the children, and the school budget. The superintendent, the teams, the principals, and all the contract personnel that we have. And I just want to say I will continue doing that. Thank you.
Okay, moving right
I
on.
also have a new business item, if
Oh, you do?
we're done with
Yeah,
Wayne.
Yes.
Wayne said. Sunday's paper, I don't know if everyone saw it, had a very well-written article by Bill Fortier about the rental of the Auburn athletic fields. And the article itself was fine. The headlines were profit. We're making a profit off these fields. And I mean, my father was in business, and in business he wanted to make a profit. But I think in terms of schools, we're not trying to make a profit off the fields. We're just trying to get our money back in case there's damage or wear and tear. And maybe, I suppose it is profit, because,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have the same connotation that we mostly think of when we think of profit. So maybe we could just quickly go over again. I think it was something like 13,000 or something we've taken in, but how much and where that money's going. It's not lining our salaries or something.
Sure. Well, through the chair, at the time of that, it was approximately $13,000 as reported. But all of those funds have gone back into the repair of the fields, whether it might be for a contract in terms of, because we have to be very careful for any items that we put down, any materials on the softball field in particular, to try and take care of that. Some funds, as Mrs. Worsbicky reported, assisted with the elevator project at the press box. When there was damage to the water bubbler at the concession stand, some of that money was used for that. So whatever we take in, we use it to, and the goal is really so that we don't have to take it out of the operating budget to minimize the impact to the taxpayers.
So it may be a profit, but it's already earmarked for
We turn it right back in.
into repairs and
Correct.
maintenance and
Right,
all of that.
exactly. Yes.
Anything
Thank
else
you.
under new business before we get to upcoming events?
Nope.
Nothing?
So as we have, there's lots of culminating events tomorrow night. Packagug has a special event, an evening with authors. There are band concerts coming up, and I know that I say many of these events are my favorite, but the Memorial Day programs that our young children put on really are outstanding and really help to drive home the true meaning of that program, which I think is so important for our kids, for that holiday, I should say, for our kids to recognize. So if you're available, I encourage you to attend, and then I know the town of Auburn always has its Memorial Day program on Monday, actually the 30th.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been to a few of them, and they're just unbelievable. They're great. And the one at the cemetery that they have, I believe that goes through the Tuttle Post, and they do an outstanding
Do.
thing there too.
They do.
And we need to support our veterans and have our kids get involved with history and, you know, the veterans and everything. Thank you.
I just have a question. If we were to decide, you know, maybe last minute we want to go to the program at Bryn Mawr or whatever, should we notify the principal out of courtesy, or can we just show up?
You know, it would be nice if you notified out of courtesy, but honestly, and hopefully they're gonna be beautiful weather days, it's
It'd
just
be
outside,
outside.
so you're more than
The
welcome.
parents are out there and
They are,
everyone's out there.
they are, yeah. The only
Okay.
reason you would go inside, and I think they would recognize all of you anyway, but feel free to, but it's not necessary. I can
Okay.
let them know that you may come.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
thank you.
All right. I can't announce Celia because she's not here, so.
Right,
no.
right. Through the chair in her absence, we continue to work together as we do our final cleanups of the budget, and it is my recommendation that you approve the transfers as presented.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the transfers as presented to us by the business manager.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, there's a
Excuse me.
vote.
Thank you very much.
And we do not need executive
We
session.
need just a very brief one, actually. We do, I'm sorry.
Really?
You're doing
You have to make me look bad?
I'm sorry.
All right, we do need an executive session. I would entertain that motion.
Make a motion.
Oh, we need the official. I make a motion.
We need Gail, the official.
I make a motion that we go into executive session as per Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 21A2, to conduct strategies for negotiations with union and non-union personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Mrs. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mrs. Holloway?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Page? Mr. Scobie?
Yes. Good night, everyone.